Nigerian youth and its policy. My name is Mike. Nigeria's population is young and fast growing. It is expected to be the world's third most populous country by 2050, with 400 million inhabitants. And that's coming from the United Nations, with nearly 70% of Nigeria's population below the age of 35. It is therefore crucial that young people are represented in the country's political system. There have been welcome steps on this front. In May 2018, Nigeria passed a new law which lowered the age limit for political office from 35 to 30 years in the Senate and from 30 years to 25 years in the House of Representatives and the State House of Assembly. It was a remarkable achievement for young people in the country, as it means that they had opportunities for representation which were not previously possible. While this is a great step towards youth inclusion in politics, it is clear that more still needs to be done to put young people at the very heart of politics, governance, and decision-making process in Nigeria. Also, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has inaugurated the National Youth Confab Planning Committee with a charge to come out with suggestions that will contribute to development of the country. Addressing the committee members at the council chambers of the Presidential Villa, Abuja, President Bola Tinubu urged the committee to take the opportunities seriously and make inputs that can change the future of the youth. Tinubu emphasized that the government policies were designed to create prosperity, particularly for young Nigerians who constitute over 60% of the population. And now joining me live to look at these issues where the Nigerian youth and its polity, and to also look at what is definitely going to be happening in the world of the youth and the world of Nigeria. It's one man who is a chairmanship aspirant for Ikorodu local government and the publisher of Waves newspaper, Aziz Oshwala Lamina. Good morning, Mr. Aziz.
Good morning, Mr. Michael.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
All right, welcome to the show. And also right here in the studio, we have a lawyer and a public affairs commentator, also a university lecturer, Barrister Deji Olale. Barrister Deji, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning to you. It's nice to be with you this morning again.
All right, let the show, Lagos, let the show begin. Addressing the issue of youth empowerment, one person who is definitely speaking loud against the hit is the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has expressed disappointment over the attitude of youth wanting to become billionaires overnight and the misuse of government-provided vehicles, stating that some beneficiaries sold them instead of using them for business. Also, yes, I told you about the President declaration for the youth. Minister of Youth Development also in Nigeria, Ayodele Olawande, has definitely thanked the President for giving the youth a voice and assured that the committee represented various stakeholders fairly. Let's listen to Wike and definitely listen to the President before we listen to our guests.
All these theories empower the youth. Nobody has asked, are the youth willing to work? Are the youth willing? It's not about government bringing up policy to help you. When you bought vehicles, have you seen any of those vehicles along the road? They've sold them. And we sit back, we talk about youth. You know, it pains me. You want to maybe be a billionaire overnight. You don't want to work for it.
All right, let's come to our guest, the chairmanship aspirant for Ikorodu local government area. Let's come to you right now. I mean, you won't deny this. You're a youth also. How do you react to comment coming from the minister of the FCT? And also, don't forget that one time, former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2018 claim that Nigerian youth want to sit and do nothing and also get housing, healthcare, education free. And this sparked a lot of outcry on social media. Your reaction to this?
Well, good morning once again, and thanks for having me. If I want to respond to all of this exposition you've made about from the Minister of the FCT and, of course, what the former President Muhammadu Buhari said about the youth being lazy, well, I think I would want to take a look at it from another perspective.
Okay.
Because you see, this country, Nigeria, we have a bit of everything. The country is so blessed that if you want to say there are a few youths who are lazy, yes, I would not stand here to say that maybe there aren't. But of course, we equally have a very large number of youths who are doing fantastically well. And that is why you see that if we leave the shores of this country, even if you look around you in the country, you see that youths are doing marvelous. They are doing great things. So we have a bit. For me, I think we have a bit of everything. We have youths who are very, very and highly productive, and of course, out of about hundreds of millions, you wouldn't say that you wouldn't have those who aren't ready to do anything. Do you understand? But I'm saying that the large number of youth that we have are willing to do, because I work and interact with the youth and I see what they are doing. Sometimes when I see what the younger ones of this country are doing nowadays, I feel like, oh, so why would we leave out? It would be unfair for us to generalize entirely that Nigerian youth are lazy and they are not willing to do anything, just like the FCT minister said that they don't want to work for it.
Willing
to work for it.
You definitely will say claim to be a youth, and how then? Let's take probably your struggle. Becoming now being a chairmanship aspirant for Ikorodu local government area. How do you want to advise the youth on this? We know you really don't have a time because of what you have on your table. But then quickly, how do you want to advise youth on this? Coming from where you started and where you are now, what do you want to advise the youth in Nigeria, yes, to do on all of this comment? Because sometimes this comment can be blatant.
You said sometimes?
Sometimes all these comments, it can weaken the soul, the spirit of a common youth in Nigeria who is probably looking for daily bread.
Yes. So you see, the truth of the matter is that nowhere in the world would you be spoon-fed. You understand? As they say, there is no free food anywhere, even in Freetown. So my advice to the youth would be that there would be no time when the government would hand over everything to you, like, okay, now you can have this, you can have this, you can have that. Even if you go to any part of the world, you wouldn't sit down in your house and have it all spelled out for you.
But there are social amenities, there are developments that governments are put in place.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you that there are social amenities that the government has put in place in those countries. But I am saying to you that within the context of our own country here, we can only understanding our environment. It is important for us. Okay, if we don't have it, if we don't have the social amenities, are we supposed to sit down and say, well, since we don't have it, let us leave? We can't do that. And that is why you see that people like myself, we are saying, okay, now we are young, but then we still want to vie for this position. If we get it, then you now see a preponderance of you saying that, yes, now we are getting the opportunity. But if we don't put ourselves forward, say, hey, guys, we are here and we are ready to take on the mantle of leadership, how would we expect them to hand it over to us? So I am saying that it is for the youth. Okay, now look at it. Like you introduced me earlier, I had founded my own company when I was age 22. So if I was waiting for my dad or the local government chairman or the governor to give me maybe a grant before I would start anything in life, what would I be doing by now? So I'm saying that the youth have to take the bull by the horn. We have to know, okay, where do I want to go in life? Where do I want to start from? Okay, this is the direction I'm headed. Let me go for it. If you don't have a purpose, you don't expect that you're going to take anything out of it. It's only when you have a purpose where you want to go to that you probably, you say, if you don't start, you will not finish. So that's my advice to the youth, that we need to start doing something.
All right, so let me hold you there.
About what we can do for ourselves and not what the government can do for us. If we start approaching it this way, I think we will get to somewhere in no distant time.
Let me hold you there. I say if you don't start, we won't finish. We'll come back to you. Let's quickly come to a barrister right here in the studio. Also, we have a broadcast journalist and a public affairs analyst right here also in the studio, Mr. Taiwo Olakbade. Mr. Taiwo, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
All right, barrister. I mean, you had the Minister of FCT some week right there on the youth saying that, well, this youth, is probably commemorating the words of the former president who said Nigerian youth are lazy. You know, when you buy them, even if you buy them cars, they'll sell it and all. What's your reaction?
Well, it's unfortunate that is coming from the minister. First of all, it appears in this country that those who are privileged by opportunism to get to high status, they themselves, they become overlords, and they begin to assume that all others are maybe weaklings or feeble, or they don't know what they are doing and all of that. It's unfortunate that the minister is saying what he has said, because even he himself at a particular point was one of the beneficiaries of the goodness, let me put it that way, the goodness of a former governor of that state who brought him from nowhere. He was struggling, and he was at a motor park tax collector, and obviously a governor propped you up, made you who you are, and you have gotten opportunity to be in government. Now you are condemning the generality of Nigerian youths as if they don't know what they are doing. Nigerian youth are the most productive, the most competitive, the most educated youth in the world today. In the US, you find that almost about 60% of the educated class in the US that has a higher degree are Nigerian youths, Nigerian young people. So to say that Nigerian young people are indolent or that they don't know what they are doing and all of that, I don't subscribe to that. I think it's trying to cast Nigerian youth in a garment that don't belong to them. I want to tell you that in Nigeria today, the people sustaining this nation today is not the class of people that are from the age of 50 upward. It's the young men that are sustaining and are producing most of the benefits, the achievement, the resources, and all the goodwill that Nigeria has today as a nation in sports, in science, in all fields of knowledge. So it is very, very wrong to say that Nigerian youth are doing or they don't know what they are doing. And unfortunately, some of our leaders who are making this comment, many of them became youth. They came into government at a time when they were young people. In this same country, we had somebody, General Yakubu Gowon was at the age of 25 when he was chief of army staff. He became the head of state of this country at the age of 27. Yeah. Many of these men, Babangida became a commissioned officer at the age of 17. He was sent as a commander to the war at the age of 21. He was a commander at the age of 21.
And all this was because they were youth involved at a young age.
Yes, Chief Awolowo became premier at the age of 32. General Obasanjo left government at the age of 37. So when they talk about youth being incapable, and these men are not as educated as the present day Nigerian youth. They are not as experienced as the present day Nigerian youth. So you wonder what is the basis for them to say that Nigerian youth don't know what they are doing or that they are weak. I don't understand it.
All right, let's come to Mr. Taiwo Olakbade, who is a public affairs analyst and also a broadcast journalist. Mr. Taiwo Olakbade, I mean, you have the floor.
Well, I want to concur with Barrister Olaleye, and I would also like to say that I'm not going to blame the minister for the FCT, Mr. Isom Wike. I will rather blame the Nigerian youth, because if you look, Nigeria is a youthful nation.
Okay.
The larger percent of the population are within the age bracket, maybe 25, 40, 45.
35, yeah.
35.
So, 35 thereabouts. Thank you. So we have the power. So how come someone among us, well, me, I'm not you two. I've crossed that. So, but how come that we have not seen someone that we say, even from the governorship, maybe around 30 years thereabouts, because even during voting, during election, they are in the majority. Go and check the record. The statistics are there. The youth are in the majority of the people that cast their vote for this same old wagons, or how you want to look at it. So does it mean that the youth does not really also believe in one of their own? Just the same way that is applicable to women. When we are voting, women are in the majority. Statistics of INEC, or even
the nation, national statistics.
Bureau of Statistics are there, because we have more women in Nigeria than men. They come, and they because of their nature, they are the one that comes out during the sun, during the rain, to say, oh, I'm casting my vote for so party or for so candidate for one reason or the other. And even at that, we have never had, you can imagine what happened in Lagos State when we had in history the first female speaker that didn't last for more than 48 or 49 days. And that has gone down in history. So coming back to the question, I think the youth should, like the man from Ikorodu said, they should take the bull by the horn and show and prove these people. They need to prove them wrong. That no, we are not lazy. That no, we are capable. That no, we are committed and we are ready. And maybe they can demonstrate that come 2027 presidential election. I'm not saying they should lay by. They shouldn't do anything ahead of that. But 2027 election is very significant. Maybe you can see someone of you, Senegalese president. Just around 38 or 39 years old.
Burkina Faso, Niger.
So what are we talking about? So who says we cannot repeat the history of the past, just like the barrister narrated, the Gowon of this world, the Babangida, all of them of this world, they were in their youthful age when they became the leader of this country.
And let me come to Mr. Aziz. Mr. Aziz, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here with you.
I mean, you heard from our barrister. I'm sure you heard that. You also heard Mr. Taiwo just now. With all of with all of this now, is this just elections? About elections, that is where the youth can actually show their might.
Yes, it's an election, and of course, even
because don't forget, sorry to comment, because don't forget that Nigerian youth, when it comes to talent, when it comes to creativity, when it comes to ability, Nigerian youth are there, innovation, yes, barrister. So why does it seem to be like we are limited?
Why is it that we are?
So why does it seem to be like we are limited? Probably because of political interference.
That's something that still goes to stick to the fact that we, the youth, need to take the bull by the horn, because you see, the government and the political leaders have mastered a way of dividing, polarizing the youth. Do you understand? So when you say that we are going here, you find out that we already have a way we have their own youth who can already distract or divert the attention to the other side, sway public opinion. So because they know and understand that we can't speak in one voice, and just like not only with the youth, there are usually systems to actually upset a system where they don't want to speak in one voice. They have mastered all of these plans. So I know and understand that it's going to be frank, it's going to be quite difficult to say that the time will come when everybody is going to be speaking in one voice, because you know what drives opinions are interest.
Is there a way out of this?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Is interest. Because you people have interest. If you look at it now, those who align with Wike would align with him because maybe that is where their interest is. And those who would not agree will look at it and know, I, for one, I'm not a lazy Nigerian youth. I'm a productive Nigerian youth, so you can't say I am lazy. I would not agree with that. But if you look at intermodal level, some people will agree to that. So what I'm saying is that the government and all of these apparatus have mastered a way of looking at it that, okay, because of our interest, let's do this to polarize them. It is until we find a way, and that is where we need to find how we want to galvanize ourselves. And to galvanize ourselves, to make sure that we, at least a larger part of it, if you look at what the youth did during the 2023 election, the offset we were able to prove tells you that by the time we have a rallying force, it took a lot of effort. And if you look at it, just because of the efforts of a few people, at least we made a statement that, see, the day we all rise to say we want to take back our country, we can. And the 2023 election also made a very loud statement that says the power truly resides with the youth. We can actually cause a change. The reason why this country is still like this, why it is not accountable to anyone, why it is because the youth are not ready. The day the youth say enough is enough, we need to take back our country, then I think the country will start moving forward. So,
all right.
At this juncture, I would rather want to say that I want to put this at the doorstep of the youth.
Okay.
That they or we are the reason why we've left, why our country is like this. We need to wake up and then bring back the giant. While growing up, what we had is Nigeria is the giant of Africa. Not only Africa alone, but maybe in the community of the world, we actually take a space. They know the most populous African country, and of course, you can't, our economy, you cannot say which country is that. No country in the world can say where is Nigeria coming from. So by the time the youth wake up and say, yes, we want to do this, we see that there is going to be a major shake-up. And this shake-up would start leading the country to prosperity. So I want to put this at the doorstep of the youth that we need to find our way. If these things affect us, rather than look inwardly, what the youth are doing is looking outwardly. We would rather leave the shores of the country to go and look for greener pasture, but rather than leave our own country behind and the issues and expect that some youth should solve it for you while you are away. And when the country is better, they say they want to come back.
I was still going to that conversation, that jackpot conversation there, because so it seems to be like majority, the youth.
Look inwardly to start solving the challenges of this country, not outward.
All right, Lagos, you've heard that from the chairmanship aspirant, Ikorodu local government, Aziz Oshoala Lamina, that's a challenging, calling out the youth. Youth, yes, let's be part of this conversation right here on Spotlight on Super 92.7 FM. Yes, call us on 0705 890 4927. 0705 890 4927 or 0805 092 0927. 0805 092 0927. Don't forget, you can send us your message on WhatsApp on 0705 690 0927. 0705 690 0927. All right, yes, it's getting heated right here on the Spotlight on Super 92.7 FM. Before I'll let you go, Mr. Lamino, let me quickly come to our guest right here in the studio. I mean, recently, with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inaugurated the National Youth Confab Planning Committee with a charge to come out with suggestions that will contribute to the development of the country. Addressing the committee members at the council chambers at Presidential Villa in Abuja, Tinubu urged the committee to take the opportunity seriously and make input that can change the future of the youth in our dear country. Let's listen to the president and then we'll come back on this.
Japa, the men means Nigeria, they leave Nigeria. It's because if you grow prosperity back home and you empower people, they will not bother. We stay home. This is your home to develop, build, and make prosper. I'm glad you all are here as a committee to inspire today, tomorrow, and thereafter. I'm with you. When we started, it looked so foggy, dicey, and hopeless. We tried hard and we're drawing water from a dry well. But today the economy has turned the corner. I've listened to the remark of your spokesperson. You have the great opportunity of advancing the development of this country. It's all in your hand. Mine is to help navigate and push and lift the heavyweight problems, so I can clear the path for you to have a very great future. But it's in your hand. Look at me in the face. Tell me whatever you think is wrong and the way you want this done, or suggestions. We try to implement all of it as long as it is for the prosperity of this country.
And that's the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu addressing the committee of the National Youth Confab, the planning committee. He charged them to come out with suggestions. But, he said, what thing I want to take out, he said, look at me in the face, and tell me whatever the issues is. Right? Yeah, we'll leave the platform to you right now, Mr. Lamino. I know you were running under the platform of the APC for Ikorodu local government chairman. But people, those who were there also, probably members of the APC also. Look at the president now. He is not here, but probably we know he is listening. His aides are listening. We'll look at the president right now and tell him what you think the problem is. I'll leave it to you.
So, what I would say is that I will first of all want to commend the president for that initiative. I think it's the first time we are having such situation where you have a gathering where you are saying, okay, the youth should come up with their own ingenuity and try to see what they can do or come up with creative ideas to solve the problem of this country. It's the first time I think we are having that kind of situation, and I want to commend the president for that initiative. It shows that he is a listening and caring president, and he understands the power and influence the youth of this country wield. I understand and I know that the youth can actually provide solutions to this country because we are smart people. We understand everything we do now is on the go, which is what their own generation do not have. We have the tools, we have other things to work with that we can actually provide solutions to things quite quickly. Even if you look at our own generation, we are fast-paced. So since the older generation want to take the time out to think through, we want to look at it and we want to get it done very quickly. So that is why I think the president has looked at it. Okay, let's approach this question from this way.
All right.
My only challenge, and
Okay.
I only want to urge those youth that have been nominated to represent the youthful constituency not to see that as another money-making machine. Because you see, the problem is that when we get such opportunity, everybody already developed this mentality of it's a national cake. I want to urge those youth not to see that this is our turn to make money. And I sincerely also hope that they have not monetized that process. Rather, they have made it a situation of call to service. If the situation is not that, okay, if you come here, sit down, and you get money for sitting down for your 10 minutes, for your 30 minutes, and there is, if it's about value, then I want to ask them to please they should not disappoint us. Because if they are able to come up with a working paper that they after looking at all the issues they have put before them, and they come up with a solution, maybe they are communicating about ways they think the country can move forward, then let them push this out online. Let other youth look at it. if they've been able to do a thorough job and the government looks at it that, no, this what these guys have done, they should not also leave it at the level of that committee, because that is what we have. They have gone there and they are spending the money, taxpayers' money. Their reports or whatever they come up with at the end of their deliberation should not be left in the hands of a few people. They should let the public have it, just like we have access to documents nowadays. They should let the public have it that, okay, this is what we are preferring as solutions to this problem, and that they should please make it value-driven. This is a golden opportunity we have in our hands. If they make good use of it, if they submit that report and the presidency and even the ministers looked at it at their Federal Executive Council meeting that, no, these are creative ways to solve some of this, to go about some of these things, then I think we would have succeeded in opening up more opportunities. If this government have in this country, the government have given more opportunity to the youth. This is another opportunity government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is equally giving to the youth to say, okay, we are listening to you, and now we are inviting you to the table to propose solutions to the numerous issues we have in this country. It is a golden opportunity, and I want to urge them. We expect more, and all eyes are on them. Because I remember that when the president stated that he was going to pursue that committee, it met with very wild
reactions.
People did not agree to it, and they are looking at it that, this is another way to just throw money around. Why do you want to gather them? So that means they don't want to disappoint, and they don't want to give credit to those who are naysayers that this is not going to bring about any good for the nation. So all eyes are on them. So they should not disappoint us.
All right.
Very many of us are looking at what are these youth going to come up with. If they get the money, they will finish it. And so we are looking up to them, and I please beg them not to disappoint the youth constituency.
All right, thank you very much for that. That's he was talking on the National Youth Confab. You know, members of the committee, we have the Senate Chairman on Niger Delta Development Commission, Asukwo Ekpeyong. We have Dr. Linus Okorie. We have the Executive Director of Yaga Africa, Samson Itodo. Also, we have Babatunde Adeleke. We have Francis Sani. We have Azizat Yeshau. We have Sarah Igbe Sukubo. We have Awa Ibrahim. We have Zara Goni. We have Oladele Nihi. We have Dare Ojekbe, Uchechuku George Egbe, amongst the others. We also have members of the committee who are representatives of the World Bank. We just hope that these people, like you say, don't turn it to a national cake. It's been a wonderful time talking to you, Mr. Oshwala, Mr. Aziz Oshwala Lamina, who is the chairmanship aspirant at Ikorodu Local Government and the publisher of Waves magazine. Thank you very much for talking to us on the show.
Thank you so much, Mr.
And we hope to have you so we can talk about the goals of Ikorodu people. I mean, all right, we hope to have you in the studio soon.
I'll be very willing to come to the studio.
Invitation will be sent to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Aziz Oshwala Lamina.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, too.
All right, Lagos, it's time for us to hear from you in all of this conversation. You've heard it all. 58904927. 0705 8904927, or callers on 0903 7142798 0903 7142798. The other lines 0805 0805 092 0927 0805 092 0927. Don't forget, you can also send your message to the WhatsApp 0705 690 0927. All right, who do we have there? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Please, that the glow you call is not working at all. I've been trying to disturb Mr. Lapade to tell you to call the number. You have done that right now. You have Ambassador Musba here from Wishin.
All right,
Ambassador. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Look,
welcome.
We are deceiving ourselves in this country. When you talk of youth. To me, age is just a number. Look, we lost our moral value That's the cocoa. Until we do things to regain our moral value, without that, we're going nowhere. Look, when we were youth in the 70s, we joined a Boy Scouts. And during that Boy Scouts, we go out to do a barber job. Don't do Boy Scouts, we know what I'm saying. And we make money. After this money, we take it back to the troop leader. Sure, stamina. So I learned a lot from that barber job. But youth of nowadays, it's not about money. Look, without money, they say, close your eye if you don't have money. I'm going to attend some conference where I gather youth students. And at the back, they tell me, who does school help? Straightly from SS2, SS3, what does school help? It's about money. So, to me, I don't know what we do. All religious, whatever, let's drop religious sentiment, tribal. Let's concentrate on building the youth from our home. It's not about money. Look, if I organize a conference sometimes, where I get about 200 youth to tell me, what do we start to gain from this gathering? Call us, play seminar. What do we start to gain? The second day, only time they show up. If I want to mobilize youth now, don't give me money. I'll give you 1,000 youth freely. Freely, 1,000, give me money. I will organize 1,000 youth to do whatever I want to use them for. They already made tools. So, where are we going? We are lost our moral value. From each home, religions don't help. We don't know what to go. We don't know what to do. I'm confused. It's not about money. Is there a way to go? One. The ball is in our court, though, honestly.
The ball is in our court. Thank you very much for that. Yes, keep your calls coming in. 0903 714 2798. 0903 714 2798. Or send your message to our WhatsApp 0705 690 0927. 0705 690 0927. All right, let's go to messages. Yeah, well, I feel okay. In name, he said, I feel the youth aren't lazy. As regards politics, the unlevel playground, bias and corruption has encouraged apathy and discouraged participation. Well, that's coming from in-name. Okay, we'll have here. Good morning, Henry from Ojo. Listening to what the FCT minister said, and I couldn't help but shake my head. That's the same thing Barrister was also doing in the studio right here. Was shaking his head. You know, what the minister of FCT has said. Barrister, I mean, I wasn't lying against you.
Yes, yeah, I actually, I'm taken aback by the development. First of all, let me say that I want to appreciate the president for this initiative. It's a promise he made while he was campaigning that he was going to convey this youth assembly, kind of, and this is the fulfillment of it. It's a good development, I must say, but I still have a lot of fears.
Just like what Aziz said,
yes, a lot
national
of fears.
cake and all.
Majority of our youth are no longer interested in issues of governance of this nation.
Because
and a lot of them are discouraged. A lot of them are discouraged. A lot of them are unhappy with the way the trend of government is moving, the trend of government and the trend of the nation. It's as if Nigeria is not moving towards any purposeful direction. And a lot of youth, you know, they are dynamic people. They are not interested in anything that does not have an objective or purpose. So a lot of people are disconnected from governance, you know, from participation and even election. Okay, majority of Nigerian youth are not interested in whoever becomes whatever, because they have made attempts in the past, you know, to try to mobilize themselves, to position themselves, and it appears as if there is a rebuff, you know. Now, if you look at the Nigerian nation, we have a gerontocratic system in our polity, a system that regards only the elders to talk. Only the elders can hold position.
In the name of experience.
In the name of experience. And in the past, most of those who have been ruling this country from independence, they are still the people controlling the affairs of the nation. And if you are talking about positioning youth, they are still the one that will select which youth should go for what or who gets what. So it's a close-up. We have a very close-up polity. A close-up polity where the big elders decide what happens, who goes where and who gets what. So when you have that kind of situation in place, just talking about youth coming to get involved is just a tirade. As far as I'm concerned, it's a charade. As far as I'm concerned, all right. We have a conservative political system, a system that is traditional and systemic for corruption, systemic for all manner of abnormalities and absurdities. Now, if you have a drive or a motivation for change, the system does not allow you to come in, no matter however brilliant you may be as a young man. Okay, so we have that as a big smoke screen. Well, that's why I'm a little bit pessimistic about what will be the outcome of this committee. You know, it's a national discourse. It should be a national discourse. All right, this issue should be a national discourse, not an issue for a committee, in my view. All right, it should be a nationwide discourse with consultations, with discussion and debate on what should be the direction.
But that is what they've been assigned to do.
Yes.
The committee should take
we
it back
we
to
hope
people.
they will widen the space. The point I'm making is that we hope the committee will widen the space of discourse over this matter and the issues, the national question. Whether the old men are willing to step aside or abdicate for the young people to drive the nation towards the desired objective. Okay, but having said all of this, I still look at the present, even if you look at the contemporary policies of government, how much of it is in support of the development of the youth? None. If you ask me, none, absolutely none. For instance, the government is not interested in funding education, which is a fundamental thing that the youth needs. All right? There has to be affordable education for Nigerian youth from the primary school to the university level, at least to the graduate level, before you can be talking about Nigerian youth participating in government.
This is even one thing
that's
that the
number
politicians enjoyed then, the likes of Awolowo,
yes,
likes of Obasanjo.
Yes, the elderly people, those who took over the independence of the country, actually had that vision. Chief Awolowo had free education policy, which assisted the western region, the old western region and the Midwest, to be able to develop to the high level that it has attained over the years, and to produce enough manpower for the nation. You know, at that time there was scholarship for students to study abroad. Most of these people who are frustrating the youth today, they went through that process of scholarship of Chief Obafemi Awolowo and the free education. Many of their fathers could not pay fees in those years, but because of the policy of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, a lot of them were able to go to school, but they have become an obstacle today to the education of Nigerian youth. It costs in a private university today, it costs an average of 1.5 million to send a child to the university per session. In a public school, it costs an average of between 700 and 800. That's excluding the cost of living on campus. When I was a student in the University of Ife in the 80s, I did all the money that my father spent on me for the 4 years I spent in the University of Ife was not even up to 5,000 naira. All the money we spent, including feeding, books, everything, was not up to 5,000 naira
now
in those years.
Now is
if you give a child 100,000 now to go back to school, it's nothing to that child, because by the time he buys books and photocopy materials, the money is gone. He can't even feed himself on campus.
I agree.
So these are the issues that should be addressed. That's on the education level. Most of our schools don't have the infrastructure, and the government is paying lip service to it. All the governors, mention them, they are paying lip service to education. So that's number one. Number two is the training, scientific training, the development in the area of technology. How much incentive do we have for research and development? None in this country.
But all of this, is it not boiled down to greed in a governance system? Because sometimes some politicians will say, well, the youth themselves do say that,
it's not the fault of the youth. I don't want to say, look, a lot of people blame the youth. The youths are not coming out and all of that. But we have seen youth that came out, and we have seen the resistance by those who wield power in this country. We have seen how much resistance from the police to the talks.
Are you talking about the NSAS? Is that
the NSAS is an example. The
NSAS
is an example. The young man who contested for governorship of Lagos State,
Gbadebo Road.
Gbadebo, yes. We saw the way he was muzzled with all the instrumentality of the state, with all the apparatus of the state. So these are the things that we are saying. Thank God for my good friend, the Lamina, that is contesting now in Ikorodu. Yeah. But I want to tell you, it's not going to be easy for him. Because if he's not in the good book of the Godfathers, there is no amount of mobilization that he wants to do that will assist him. But I pray for him that he will get there, because he's a brilliant young man. And those are the kind of people that we need in government. But there is a tough system in place that will make it impossible.
All right. Is it all possible or is it impossible? Just like the barrister said, let me come to you, Mr. Taiwo Olakpade. But before then, I come to you. Let's listen to the Minister of Youth in all of this, because he also had a lot to say in regards to the National Youth Confab. And also we'll listen to the spokesperson of the committee, Samson Itodo, who happened also to be the spokesperson for Yaga Africa. We also listen to another member of the committee. Let's listen to this. We'll be right back.
What the committee will be doing is to set the 30 days of this confab and make sure that both financing, implementation, putting together in all senatorial districts, in all regions, putting the workforce together for the committee to implement this confab.
That's the Minister of Youth. Now listen to the spokesperson for the committee, Samson Itodo.
As a committee, we believe that this is a unique opportunity, and the true measure of success for this, Your Excellency, is one, ensuring that there's adequate funding that is provided, for the conference, because the success of this conference is hinged on government support. And knowing you very well, you put your money where your heart is. And having said this, we believe that you provide adequate funding for this. The second is about bureaucratic bottlenecks. Your Excellency, if this conference is going to succeed, it needs to be insulated from bureaucratic bottlenecks. That way it will accelerate the conversations on the conference, but more importantly, the implementation thereof.
The role we're going to be playing is because, just like the Honorable Minister has said, that this confab is not going to be like the ones that we've held before. This is going to go down to the communities. We're going to have it at the local communities, that is at the state level, before we go to the regional level, before we now come to the federal level. So that is why the community engagement is very important and is involved here fully.
All right, Mr. Taiwo Olakpade, I mean, you had the minister there. You also had the spokesperson for the National Youth Confab, Samson Itodo. And now you had one of the committee members, Abdullahi, who talked about the bureaucratic bottleneck. It's one of the things that also Barrister had mentioned. Also, he talked about funding and then talk about taking it to the local communities, the states, and the regional communities. What's your comment?
Okay, thank you very much. Number one, I completely agree with the submissions of Barrister. I don't even know what to add from the comment made by the Barrister, because it's like he said it all.
All right, let's pick this call. Hello, good morning. Please call us back on 0705 890 4927. 0705 890 4927 or 0903 714 2798. 0903 714 2798. Please make your point.
So I would just quickly like to add that number one, during former President Goodluck Jonathan's tenure, we had a confab.
Yeah.
And I recall that the confab was supposed to last initially for, I think, about 1 month, thereabouts. And about 20 billion naira was allocated
for the confab.
But eventually it was extended by 2 weeks. So we spent additional, I think, about 6 or 7 billion naira. So altogether, we spent about roughly
close to 30
billion naira on that confab. Where is the outcome of that confab?
And that confab has some portion of it on youth development. So many suggestions on youth development.
so many good recommendations that can restructure, that can refine, rejig this country.
Then where did it go wrong?
Well, okay, Jonathan said because of the time frame that is not compulsory, that government is continuum, and well, we may want to agree with him. Some people also said that Jonathan had another interior motive that
they always have ulterior motives.
So, but the bottom line is the report is there. Why are we also not looking into that direction? So, my singular fear in this regard is we shouldn't just have another confab.
A talk show
that at the end of the day, the recommendation will just be gathering dust, maybe in the presidency
archives
or in the
national archives,
somewhere else. If indeed we are ready that the youth of this nation are the drivers of the country, of the socio-economic growth of this country, I think it will be a laudable and it will be a welcome development, so long that we have a genuine concern for putting this place for initiating this project. And like Itodo also said, that the president should help them in the area of bureaucracy, because whether they like it or not, they will encounter civil servants. There's no way you want to do anything and succeed.
Logistic problems.
You must accommodate them. Otherwise, they will be civil servants. And we are not saying that there are not some of them that are good, but majorly civil servants, if you don't encourage them, if you don't also accommodate them in a way.
But when you say encourage, when you say accommodate, are you trying to subtitle bribery?
Well, I'm not. That's
not what he's saying.
Don't put word into my mouth. What I'm just saying, in essence, is that you can't wish them away, whether you like it or not. If any government policy or program succeed, whether you like it or not, civil servants must have played a crucial role. And if it doesn't succeed otherwise, that means maybe the commissioner or the minister in charge. Do you think what Wike is doing, he's just doing it is doing it all alone? He can't do it alone. If he does not have the blessing of the permanent secretary in that ministry and also some directors, he can't do it alone. He can't be a one-man riot, just like Dave Umai. Dave Umai can't do it alone. So you need at least a combination of civil servants that are ready to also work and give it their best. So I hope and I pray that this confab will see the light of the day.
Do you trust a member of this committee? I mean, I
of course, particularly if anywhere you have Itodo. Itodo is somebody who has a good credibility. If you want to look at it, we just hope that we will also not compromise in the long run, and that's why he was also saying it before Mr. President, that please ensure that we do not encounter any unnecessary bureaucracy in the course of doing this job.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, I also want to say this, that we also hope that this is not a political agenda for 2027 to aggregate the strength of the youth for political purpose. We also hope so. That's very important. The president must be honest. Those in government must be honest about this project so that it can succeed.
All right, we have to go now. Barrister, it's been a wonderful time talking to Ross, Barrister Deji Olaleye, who's a public affairs commentator, a lawyer, and a university lecturer. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mike.
And also, Mr. Taiwo Lakpade, a broadcast journalist and a public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I'm always looking forward to a Friday edition of the show. It's very